Jung Il returns to Korea after years in Vietnam, but his homecoming is filled with sorrow. At the airport, he heads straight to an address and desperately knocks on the door, asking his wife, Soo, to let him in. However, she refuses, wishing he would leave. Their daughter, Yi Sol, is also hesitant to accept him, not recognizing him after all these years. Jung Il then visits his sister's home, bringing gifts for her children. It is revealed that he hasn't seen Yi Sol properly since she was a baby, making it difficult for them to connect. Meanwhile, Soo struggles with insomnia, staring out of the window at night, lost in grief. The next morning, Yi Sol prepares breakfast for herself and her mother, showing a sense of independence that hints at her lonely upbringing. Jung Il questions his sister about why Soo had to move out of their house. He learns that due to legal battles and financial struggles, Soo had to sell the house, using their savings to fight a case related to their son's tragic death. Later, Jung Il finally meets Yi Sol at school, but when introduced as her father, she reacts with fear, breaking his heart. Trying to bond, he takes Yi Sol to a toy store and tells her to pick anything she likes. Instead of choosing an expensive toy, she picks the cheapest one, showing her understanding of financial struggles. When they return home, Yi Sol cautiously enters the apartment, hiding the door's passcode from him. This small act devastates Jung Il, as it shows she considers him a stranger. Jung Il then goes to Soo's workplace, a supermarket, hoping to talk, but she reacts with anger and refuses to meet him. The next day, he picks up Yi Sol again, trying to build a bond. They go to a restaurant where she asks for half the food to be packed. When he asks why, she says it's for her brother, Sae Ho. Hearing his son's name after so long, Jung Il is shocked. They return home, where Jung Il enters the apartment for the first time. He discovers Sae Ho's Yu. Jung Il tries to reconnect with Yi Sol by fixing the house's lights. When Soo returns and sees him there, she becomes furious, handing him divorce papers and asking him to leave. The next day, a support group for families who lost loved ones in accidents invites Jung Il to participate in a memorial for Sae Ho. However, Soo refuses, unable to face her grief. Later, Soo watches old videos of Sae Ho and finds his last messages from the ferry disaster, where he had begged her to pick up the phone before the ship sank. Overcome with guilt, she breaks down, blaming herself for not answering in time. The next day, she and Jung Il visit Sae Ho's grave, where other parents gather, trying to find comfort in each other. However, Soo struggles to accept their laughter and casual conversations, seeing them as disrespectful. Meanwhile, Yi Sol suffers from emotional neglect. During dinner, Soo gets angry when Yi Sol refuses to eat fish, telling her that Sae Ho would have given anything for food. Yi Sol runs outside, crying, feeling unloved. Realizing her mistake, Soo apologizes and brings her back inside. Jung Il, still trying to heal, goes for a job interview but faces rejection when his past prison sentence is revealed. It turns out he had been jailed after an industrial accident, and while proven innocent, the time lost in prison kept him away from his family. Overcome with regret, he visits the airport, begging an officer to stamp Sae Ho's unused passport, fulfilling his son's dream of traveling. As the memorial for Sae Ho approaches, Soo softens. She visits Jung Il's sister, wanting to fix things. Meanwhile, Jung Il reminisces about happy camping memories with his children. Finally, the family starts to reconnect, slowly finding ways to heal. The story highlights loss, guilt, and the long road to acceptance, showing that grief is not just about remembering those we lost but also about learning to move forward with love.